So I'm going through the same workflow that we did in our 3 homeworks for Module 3. And remember, that was working in the Sturgis area, the whole snail habitat thing. And before I can do the geoprocessing, remember we made several selections. So I'm going to show you how to select by attribute in this video. Select by attribute I'm going to make selections on 3 layers: the Forest Service roads, the vegetation, and the geology. And I'm going to do the geology the first because it's maybe the simplest one. So I'm going to make sure that is my active layer. Remember my 4 things that are in my selection toolbar. This one is select by attribute. They call it using an expression. So I'm going to come in here, and remember, I'm going to have to open up fields and values, and this shows me all of the fields that are available in the geology attribute table. And we are going to go with rock top. So I'm going to double click rock top in there. I'm going to hit equals, and I'm going to bring in my unique values by hitting all unique, and I'm going to double click limestone in there, and then I'm going to hit select features. And when I do, limestone is going to light up yellow. It was already lit up yellow because of an aborted previous video that I did. And so I'm going to come in here and export that as a new layer. So I'm going to save selected features as, and this is in my QGIS layers area, and I'm just going to call this limestone, and I'm going to save that, add it to the map, and now it's in brown. If I turn off the geology layer, I have only the limestone. So there's my limestone bedrock. Next, I'm going to select primitive roads from our roads, and so I'm going to come in here, go to fields and values, and it's all the way down at the bottom. We're going to say where type equals unique values primitive. I'm going to select that feature. All my primitive roads are selected, and I'm not going to make a layer from that. I'm just going to keep those selected. Then my compound query was for the vegetation. Let me turn that back on. Remember, we have to get the conifers by making a compound query for this, including ands and ors and parentheses. So this is a really good, this query that she made up, that our textbook author made up, is a really good one because it illustrates several things here. So vegetation is my layer, and I'm going to open up select by attribute, and so I'm going to go to fields again, and the first one was cover type. So we said cover type is equal to, and here's my unique values, was TPP or. So where's the or? Not down there, not in here. The or is in operators. So I'm going to have to expand operators. Go all the way down and click in an or, go back up to my fields and say or cover type is equal to TWS, and I got 2 equals there. It's not going to like that because it didn't take the first time I clicked. Now I'm going to go to my operators and put an and in there, because remember, we have a density thing to do. Density 96 equals C. This is just the one that I don't have the page number, but it's the one that she does early on in that assigned tutorial. Now, because where the or is and the and is going to take precedence, and that's no good the way it sits, so I'm going to have to add a couple parentheses, and she did this in our tutorial as well. So I'm going to put a parentheses around my or. And now I'm going to run it, and it's going to select, and remember, we're going to call this layer conifers. So that's selected the conifers. I'm going to go in there, make a layer from that, save selected features as, I'm going to go in here, and it's in my QGIS layers, and I'm going to call that conifers, save, okay, and I'm going to turn off the vegetation, and Then we have to do some symbology, but I am going to, while I'm still here, the vegetation is gray and the limestone is brown. Well, limestone is usually gray. So I'm going to change that, and I'm going to make my conifers a conifer green. Pretty dark-ish green, maybe. And I'm going to hit OK. Do that. So there's my conifers, and then there's the roads, which we don't really need yet.